これロッジなの？ねえ。ロッジ。
Yeah, we're in the Stewart Island area, which is, we've got Sonora Island to the left of us here. This is the mainland that travels all the way up the coast, of course, and this is called Denham Bay. And Denham Bay is about 3 miles north of Dent Island, Stewart Island, and Big Bay area. From Vancouver, you can fly in here. You can take a flight from either Campbell River or right from Vancouver and fly in, or you can take a water taxi from Campbell River. Yeah, it was such a great spot. You know, it had good sunshine, good late evening sunshine. It had lots of water, and very accessible to the fishing. And Denham Bay is renowned for fishing. It's, there's been 300 or 400 tyes caught out of here, which is over 30-pound Chinook salmon. And a couple of years ago, there was a 72.5-pounder caught off of this area. So this is a real transient area for the fish to come through. So it seemed like an ideal spot for the fishermen to stay here and then go around the corner and catch fish early in the morning and the late evenings.
Yeah, we wanted to appeal to the locals, more for like Vancouver Island, to be able to come and rent cabins and stay the night and have it very kind of simple and low-key.
For one thing, I think it's really expensive to build around here. And secondly, the spots in Stewart Island area have been taken up by some of the big corporate places like Louis Foods and Ritchie Brothers and Dennis Washington, and this seemed to be just far enough out of the scope of their view that we could still get away with putting something up so that more of the public could come up and not have to be incorporated with one of the big businesses. Yeah, it was all treed 5 years ago, and then there was actually no plans on this place. There was never any kind of plan of which way we were going to go with it. It kind of it settled into place as we built it. At the start of it, we were going to put wall tents up here, and we thought, geez, you know, people could just come up and, you know, spend $50 and we get to meet them and we'd meet new people and they'd stay in the tents and stuff. But then it rained so much up here in BC, so we decided to build a cabin and see what that felt like. And then it just carried on from cabin to cabin. And we like the way that people can be comfortable and you know, and feel secure inside their cabin, and then still be able to go into the kitchen and meet other people and do their trip affordable. It's all about their own experience. They have to make their own experience with this place. You know, we're not here to provide you with the experience. You have to kind of be willing to take on a few things, like for your hikes and your boating and your kayaking and stuff like that.
On your own, usually your own cooking, and you know, the cabins they have heat and they have showers, but yeah. It's more about if people want to do walks on their own or kayak. It's quite safe around here compared to Stewart Island. There's a lot more currents, and but here it's pretty safe for, you know, low-key boating and kayaking. We never really had a lot of workers here either, so we started first with that one. So it was a workshop down below, and now it's changing, so now it's laundry and kind of thing, and then upstairs was where the workers could stay.
It took us 5 years. 5 years, and it's seasonal though. It's, you know, maybe 3 to 4 months a year. and that's about the only time we have to build it. And throughout the summer we both worked full time, so it was hard to keep things rolling once we started working. But we seem to have the passion and the tenacity to keep going. We just we were questioning each other the other day, like, why didn't we stop 4 years ago? You know, it's really, it takes a lot of, you have to really be seeing new visions every time you start a project.
And especially when it's seasonal too, it makes it harder. It's not like it's forever, you know. It's not like you can come up here. I mean, you can use it quite a bit of the time, from what, May, June,
May
July,
till September.
August, yeah.
May till September. But yeah, it's really important to have, every new project has to inspire you a little bit, to keep you moving along. It's like, you know, once we got the cabins, well, now let's get heat in them. And then once we get the heat in, let's get water in them. Now we got cabins, let's get a kitchen, you know. So you have to have all these new projects that spur you on, because if you just looked at the overall picture, it would just be too daunting for most people, and for us as well.
Yeah,
you know?
Step by step.
Yeah, the power is generators, but it goes into a battery bank to charge a battery bank, which goes through an inverter, which creates, it goes from 24 volts back to 120 volt to produce power. So it's basically generators that power the place up. And the water is, we've got a lake up above with a waterfall and a long creek that actually purifies the water as it comes down. It's actually fabulous water. And and there's plenty of it. So we just piped it all in. We basically went up and we dammed up the creek, and then put a water supply, a holding tank that could hold 500 gallons. And then from the 500 gallons, which is about 400 feet up the hill, then it gravity feeds it down, and then it disperses it through here.
Probably not to extend it much more, but have more walks, maybe do more alternative power, so actually have like a Pelton wheel which is running it. We won't even have to use the generator. You know, just kind of build on what we have right now.
A Pelton wheel is, we would pipe water down from up above, and it turns the turbine and creates electricity, and that electricity would go down to the battery bank and keep charging that up, so that we wouldn't have to run the generator. It is as eco-friendly as you know we can possibly do. We try to be conscientious about people bringing up their stuff and taking out their stuff. We don't want to leave a huge footprint here. You really don't have to. We are actually taming the forest and holding it back at bay for, you know, until if we decided to leave, you could take these cabins out, it would be grown back up in 4 years. You wouldn't even know we were here. So that's basically, you know, we're not trying to burn huge amounts of power. If we keep it small, it will always be that way, that we don't have to be burning tons of power to make sure that we get heat in every, you know, if we built 4 more cabins and a big conference room or anything like that. This is basically come up and relax and keep it small, and with that you don't get a huge footprint, you know. So it is amazing how the increments go up when you just do one thing. You know, I decided to put heat in each one of these cabins, and the generator runs longer. You run it more, you need a bigger generator. You know, there's just little things like that. And
and if you have more cabins, then you have to have staff. We'd rather operate it,
so you get more
know,
staff,
not
you
without.
get more garbage.
Yeah, and then you have to have other places to live, because you have to have somewhere to put them, and because it's not an area where you can easily get. They have to stay here. There's nowhere else.
That's what makes it eco-friendly, is the size of it. It's not it's like buying a small pickup opposed to a huge pickup. You know, it saves that you don't have to have as much to run that big vehicle. So we like it the way it is. It's nice and small, and make their own experience. Make it. You got the infrastructure now. You can just go from there and make your holiday, and that's what we want to see.